Okay, so amazing. So the recording has started. Thank you once again for joining the intro session. You know this happens every Friday, so you need to have this on your calendar. Please reach out to your colleagues, your friends. Tell them that the session has started. They need to be here, but if they can't be here, they can always rewatch the session on the YouTube stream. Just before we start up, I just want to talk to you for like 5 minutes and understand what you've been going through so far in terms of you going over the HTML and CSS project, and as well as going over the Python project. Anyone here wants to share? Anyone here wants to share? Hi, Adrian. Okay, so Adrian went off. Okay. Hi, Mohammed.
Yeah, hi, Cole. I have a question about the HTML and CSS project.
Okay.
Is it a bad practice to set the header as absolute position compared to the body?
First of all, setting a header as absolute depends on the type of layouting you want to use.
Yeah.
But that will also add a layer of complications to your project. So it is always better to keep using. So, just a brief history. Before they created the grid and flex layout, we
Yeah.
used to use relative absolutes to actually position and lay out stuff on the screen. But the problem with that is you need to really have a deeper understanding of layouting to use absolutes. If you use absolute and you don't use it properly, then you tend to have issues on smaller devices and so on, right? So
Yeah.
just keep it simple and then use the technology that we are teaching you, which is using the flex, right?
Okay.
Use the
Okay.
flex to actually achieve whatever layouting that you want to do.
Okay.
Is that
Thank
okay?
you. Thank
All
you.
right, you're
Yes.
welcome. You're welcome. All right. All right, guys. So today we're going to do more Python. Last week we looked at a couple of things. I guess I need to bring up my notepad. Okay. Yep. So last week we looked at a couple of things, and then so I'm going to stop sharing here. I'm going to minimize this as well, and I'm going to bring up my VS Code. Okay. Right. So this is from the other session. We're going to open recent. We're going to go to Python C1. Good. So we looked at a couple of things. We actually took the time to actually appreciate the primitive types that exist in Python and the fundamental building blocks of Python. We looked at Booleans, we looked at strings, we looked at the essence of having Booleans. We looked at how relevant Booleans work in terms of making decisions in your program. And we also got to understanding how important it is to make decisions. Now, the trick in here is for you to know that once you know how to declare variables, once you understand the types of data that exist in Python, once you know how to initialize variables, once you know how to make decisions, and once you're able to break bigger programs down into smaller chunks of programs called functions, you're on your way to becoming a good Python developer. All you need to do is you just need to practice more. You just need to solve more problems. Any problem that you think about that is programmably possible, you can achieve using Python. So we looked at all these technologies and all these knowledge, skills, and tool sets in Python, but we didn't get the time to look at for loops. So for today's session, we are going to look at loops. We are going to look at lists and tuples. We are going to look at set and dictionaries. We're going to look at import and modules. Now, this is just an intro session, so we might not get the chance to cover every single thing, but we'll cover most of it, which will be loops, lists, and tuples. Then in the coming, that is on Tuesday, we're going to further on to look at set, dictionaries, import, and modules. Guys, if you pay close attention and you are able to understand what we are doing here, you will be on your path to becoming a good Python developer. But note that programming is not typing. Programming is actually thinking and solving problems. So if you have a problem, you can basically use these tools that I have presented you here with to actually solve those problems. Is that okay? Right. So with that being said, I'm going to put this to the side and I'm going to come here. We are going to look at loops, okay? I'm going to rename this to loop, not for loop, because I want to do kill two birds with one stone, okay? So now I want to hear, hi, Janet. Janet, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm good. Hi, Denzel. Denzel, are you here?
Hi. Yeah, I'm here.
Yo, what's popping?
I'm good. I'm good. I
You're
actually
good.
joined not long ago. I'm trying to catch up.
All right.
Yeah.
Okoye, Marianne Okoye, how are you doing? Hi, Okoye.
Hi, Cole. Good evening.
Good evening. Hi, Priscilla.
Hi, Cole. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm going to call everybody. Hi, Victor. Hi, Victor. How are you doing? All right. So, Victor, are you here?
Yes, I'm here, Cole. Good evening.
Okay. Good evening. Prudence, are you active? Philip, are you active?
Yeah, I am.
All right.
Yes.
All right, James, I see you. I see everybody. Okay, good. All right. So, I just want to throw a question out there, right? So far, we've seen bits and pieces of Python. Hi, Alhassan.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Yeah, I see you. Right. So we've seen bits and pieces of Python, right? So I want us to write a small program, right? And so this program here, let me just make this bigger. Go to view and then wrap this. Okay. So if I have this program here, right? And then, so in here, I'm just going to have my multi-line comments. And then I'm going to just come here. I just want you to see. So I want to create a program that displays your name, complete mailing address, formatted in a manner that you would usually see on the outside of an envelope. This should be quite easy to do, right? Guys, this should be quite easy to do. So I'm not even going to solve it. I'll leave that there. But let's rather do this, okay? So we want to write a simple program. And in this program, we want to say that we have some users who are going to purchase stuff from our online shop, right? Or from our program. Now, in an event where the user wants to purchase goods that is above, let's say, $5,000, right? We want to tell them they've won, you won a t-shirt, okay? Or else, or if it's below that, we just want to tell them that, hey, keep on shopping with us, okay? We want to allow the user to dynamically input the price of the item that they are purchasing, right? So dynamically input the price of item being purchased, right? I'm going to pick someone. Hi, Janet. Janet?
Paul.
So
Hi.
help me to build this simple and easy program, okay? Janet, can you come on?
Hi, I'm here.
Yes, so I want you to help me build a simple program. So we want to write a simple Python script that allows the user to input the price that they want to purchase our item for. Then we want to perform a check. If that price is 5,000 and above, we want to tell them they want a t-shirt. If not, we want to tell them to keep on shopping with us. What do you think we'll do first?
I think we would. Okay, before I say anything, I just want to say that I missed last week's session on Python.
Don't worry. It's okay. It's okay if you make a mistake. Mistakes are actually good for us, so don't worry.
Okay, so I think the first thing you do would be you would ask the user to input the price of what they are buying.
Okay. So we want to create a variable called price of item, okay? And then we are going to assign and then use Python's inbuilt function input to ask the user to input the price of the item you are buying, right? Is that right?
Yes,
Hi, Jeanette,
please.
come back.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
back. I'm back.
So now that we have this, we have the price that is stored in here. Then what do we do next?
Okay. The next thing. Okay. Oh. The next thing we are going to do is to. I'm sorry. Could you repeat the instructions for me again?
Okay. So the user would dynamically input the price of the item they are purchasing. Then we want to perform a check to see if what they are purchasing is 5,000 and above. Then we tell them they want a t-shirt. If not, we tell them to keep on shopping with us.
Okay. Okay. Then I'm guessing that the next thing you're going to do is you check if the item is
So we're
either
going to check
500 or above.
if the price of the item that the user purchased, we're going to check if it's greater than or equal to 5,000, right? Then
Yes,
we're going
please.
to tell them that's what
They want a t-shirt.
you want a t-shirt, right? Then what if it's below that? Then what do we do?
We tell them to keep shopping.
Yeah, but how would we do that?
Else,
okay. Else, then we say what? Print what? Keep on shopping with us, right? So now, Janet, let's try a code. So we're going to run the scripts. Okay. Okay, so we have here input the price of the item you are buying. Okay, so we're going to input 850. We want to check, and then it tells us there's an error. Jeanette, come back, Jeanette.
I'm back.
Yeah, so there's an error. There's a type error here. Is Amira on the call? I don't think Amira is on the call. Okay, Victor, so please hold your horses now. Let's see what Janet does here. So, Janet, there's a type error. So how do we resolve this?
Okay, I'm guessing we need to make the 5,000 an integer.
Which of the 5,000? Well, this is an integer.
And the amount being put, the price.
This price. So we need to convert this to an integer.
The one with
this one here?
The price of the item, yes. We need to do that term as an integer.
So how would we go about doing that?
I'm going to guess int.
No, please don't guess. All right, so let's have Victor help us. Victor, come in. Or do you, Harry? No. Hold on. Janet, I want you to appoint someone to help you.
Okay.
No, Harry, hold on. Janet, appoint someone to help you. It could be anyone. Or do you want to phone a friend?
Please phone a friend.
Okay. All right. Adrian, hold on. I think Henry was up first. So let's get Henry to help us. Henry.
I think the type error is coming because she didn't specify what it will say when it's less than 5,000 or above 5,000. So we need to say else if before the else. So else.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if we do that, we are going beyond the solution that we are proposing. So hold on to that thought, Henry, and let's also listen to what Victor would say.
Okay.
Hi, Victor.
Okay, cool. I think for the listing, for the assignment statement, where we have price of item, I think we cast the input to an integer.
Okay, so we need to typecast the output from the input to an integer, right?
Yes, I think we should.
Okay, so let's try this and see. Okay, so I'm going to input how much? 850. Then you see a word. So Victor, can you explain this to all of us here why we did this?
Okay, the casting, according to what I read about it, I think the casting is trying to tell the user that whatever is imputed from the user, the input the user is giving to us is an integer. So it will enable us to be able to like do the conditional statement for the if price is greater than or equals to 5,000, which is an integer.
Okay.
So why we are having the error is because this price of item being greater than or equals to 5,000 is not stating if it's an integer or a string. So this casting is making the program understand that what the user actually imputed is an integer.
Okay, that's a good try, Victor, and I think that's very good. But you remember, Victor, you're the same person that asked me, if you have a variable, let's say pets, and then you store a value animal in here, right? And you want to use pets.replace, and then you want to change the A, right? Let's say, oh, you even mentioned this, both this were small letters, right? To let's say something else. How do you do that? Victor, do you remember the solution I gave you here?
For the replace.
Yeah. I told you something. I told you that if you are looking at any Python function, right, or any Python code, you can look at the documentation, okay? So you remember I told you when you hover on the replace, if you're using VS Code, you should get the documentation at the top.
Yes.
This tells you the argument that you need to pass to that particular function. But also, it also tells you whatever it returns. Do you see that?
Yes.
So the replace function in this case returns a literal string, okay? Or it tells you here that it returns a copy with all occurrences of a substring, old replaced by the new. So we can do the same thing, Janet, with inputs. If you hover on input, you realize that input always returns a string. Do you see that? Victor, are you here?
Please.
Yes, I'm here.
And when you read here, it tells you it read a string from a standard input, the trailing new line is stripped, the prompt string, if given, blah, 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 and you can read all those things, right? But the whole point you need to know here that it returns a string. So in here, we are trying to compare a string with an integer. And you think it would make sense to compare a string with an integer?
No. No.
Good. So then we need to actually standardize the data that we are comparing. So input is going to return a string. So this 850, if you remember, this 850 here is actually not going to be 850 integer, but it's going to be a string. So it is not going to be like this 850, but it's going to be like this 850. Okay. And these are two different data types. So we can't compare them. Therefore, we need to typecast it from the string to an integer, which is why we're using the int function. Is that okay? So that's how come this is working. Now, on that speedy note, we have built a simple Python script that does a basic check. But what if these prices were multiple, right? What if we had multiple prices? We had like 20, 30 prices. Hi, Priscilla.
Sorry, I want to take us back a little bit.
Please take us back.
Can you go back to when the int was not there?
Okay.
And the result in the terminal.
Yeah.
Can you?
So let's escape this. Let's play this. Let's run the script again. Let's put 850. Enter. Here we are.
Please, can you explain the type error maybe from here, how we can correct it?
So look at this. So it's quite self-explanatory. Making it a bit bigger so that we can all see. You see, it says the error type. We are going to look at errors in the future, okay? Don't worry. But for now, you see it says type error. So you are using greater than or less than. It's not supported between instances of a string and an integer. Do you see that? So you are using this comparison operator, which is not supported between string and integers. So we are either comparing two strings or we are comparing two numbers.
Okay.
Is that okay? That is why we have this error.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
All right. So back to the matter. So this input here is just one. Okay. What if we had a list of prices? Maybe what if we even had we're going to comment this out. We had a string, right? Called a sentence, okay, that says Johnny jumped over the brown lazy fox. Guys, do you believe all the alphabet exists in this? Do we have all the alphabets in this?
No, please.
What are we missing?
You're missing I.
I and what?
It. Okay.
And what?
I think just I.
We also don't have T.
Which one?
C.
Do you
A
say
C.
T?
G.
C.
We are missing
C.
what?
G.
Okay. Okay. So then let's change Johnny to the quick
Brown fox.
brown fox. Yeah.
S.
Okay. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. Okay.
There's no S.
Okay. The lazy dog here. Okay. So someone said there's no X.
S. Dogs. Dogs.
S.
Dogs.
Dogs. Yes.
Okay. Good. So we have this sentence here, right? Now, this sentence, we understand that is basically made up of a group of characters, right? And these characters, as we've all seen, contains almost all the alphabets, right? Now, we also understand that if we want to get the first T, we can use the index, that is sentence, okay? Use the index 0 to actually get the T in there, right? So we can get the T in there, right? We can also get maybe the quick, right? So that would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the fourth index would actually get us the Q, right? And so on. But one thing I need you to note here is that what I am doing here is I am sequentially trying to access each and every character in this. And when you are trying to do anything sequentially or anything over and over and over again, in programming, it's called a loop, okay? And it's something that you're doing over and over and over again. Now, in Python, we have two basic loops. We have the while loop, okay? While loop, and then we have the for loop. For loop, sorry. Okay, now in the while loop, the structure of the while loop is to enable us to access anything that is a sequence, right? Systematically or inversely, okay? So for example, if I want to access all the characters in here without having to do this manually, right? So I'm going to say this one here 0, this one here being 1, this one here being 2, this one here being 3. If I run this script, you see I get the first 3 characters in this sentence here, right? But the way I access this is I use 0, 1, 2, and 3, right? Now 0, 1, 2 got the TH and E. The 3 got the space here. So you can actually see the space down here, right? Now to do this sequentially without you manually writing these 1, 2, 3, we can use the help of a loop. So the first thing we want to do with a loop is we want to set the initializer, okay? We want to set the initializer, that is where it is going to start from. So we say start and want it to start from 0, okay? And then the loop has a condition. So in the while loop, we say this condition, right? The while, then we pass a condition to it. So we want to check if start is less than the length of the sentence, okay? Like this. Now, what does it mean to have the length of the sentence? I don't want to count these sentences, right? But I want to leverage on the method length, okay? Now, once I have this, I don't need to repeatedly do these one by one, but I can easily, good. Remember I spoke about Python indentation, right? So let me just close this here, right? I can easily have one print statement with the variable using my square braces and then this counter variable. What this will do essentially is that it is going to check this condition over and over again until this condition is false, then it stops running. Okay. Now, Another thing that you need to add to a while loop is the incrementer, okay? So I want to say start should be start equal to start plus 1, okay, like this. Okay, to keep incrementing this from 0, the next time it goes to 1, next time it goes to 2, 3, 4, and so on. If I run this script now, what you see is that it prints each and every character in here. Do you see that? Each and every character in the sentence. This is something that I would have done manually doing this, but using the loop, I can literally iterate over each and every character and then print out each and every character. Okay. Does this make sense? Or do you have any questions on this? Okay, Denzel. All right. So does anyone have any question on this? So this is just a simple example, right? What if maybe we want to count up to 100, right? Then we can still use the while loop, okay? We can say count start from 1, okay? Then we want to say while count start is less than or equal to 1,000. Okay, let's start from 100, okay? Print count start, okay, like this. Count start. Then we want to increment count start, which is equal to count start plus 1, okay, like this. Now, if I run this script, look at this, it is going to count from 1 to 100. Do you see how easy and fast that was? Imagine if you were processing some document that contained about 1,000 lists. This will be how fast it will complete it. Okay. What if we want to count up to 1,000? Can we do that? Let's clear our screen, our console. Let's execute our script again. And then you see immediately it's done. It's counted from 1 to 1,000. Let's move it up to 10,000. Let's clear our console. And then let's see how that works. Do you see that? You see how easy that is? It just counted easily to 10,000. What if we move to 100,000, right? Let's clear our console. Let's run our script. And then look at that. Do you see how easy it is for you to write a simple script, which is in like 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, that is actually going to count from 1 to 100,000 for you. We can move this to 1 million. We can move it to any number. So long as it's a valid number, it is going to count up to that number. So loops basically help you to do the same thing over and over and over and over again, right? So just think about the possibilities of what you can do with a loop. Okay, but sometimes you don't want the loop to complete executing. You see, this is going to take a lot of time to complete. So I can stop this by pressing Control and C to actually interact with it and then stop it. Maybe I'm just going to reduce these numbers to, let's say, 1,000. I want just the even numbers, okay? I want just even numbers. And I'm going to pick Eric. Hi, Eric. Hi, Eric. Eric, are you here? Oh, come on, Eric. All right, so let me pick Prudence. Hi, Prudence. I've not heard your voice. Yes, Denzel, we can do that. So that's more of a shorthand. But for the sake of this tutorial and for everybody to understand, that is why I'm doing start is equal to start plus 1. Hi, Prudence.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes.
So Prudence, so we want to count, we are counting from 1 to 1,000, right? But we don't want all the numbers from 1 to 1,000. We just want the even numbers from it, right? What do you think we can add to our code to get only the even number?
We can do we can say like the number divided by 2 or modulus 2 remains gives us 0.
Okay. Okay, that is correct. But what if I change this to 0 and then I change this to 2? Do you think it will give me only even numbers?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so let's execute it, okay? So look at that. Let's do it with a smaller number, okay? Let's do 10, okay? And see what happens. Do we see all even numbers? Hi, Prudence.
Yeah.
You see even numbers, right?
Yes.
So you see, one thing I want you to pay particular attention to is, I told you programming is thinking, not what? Typing, right? So Bawa, since you are unmuted, what if I want to print odd numbers? What do you think I can do?
Set constant to 0.
Which one?
Yeah.
Set count start to 0. Okay.
I think while constant will be.
Okay, let's have Adrian help us. Hi, Adrian.
Hi, coach.
Hi.
We can set the count start to 1.
Okay.
And then we increment it by 2.
And increment it by 2, right? Okay, so let's do that. Let's see. Okay.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So you see, by just changing a few numbers and playing around with those few numbers, you get what you want. But also, it is not always the case that we want this. So maybe we actually want a count to start from 1, and then we want count start to be incremented by 1. There are many cases that you're going to see in programming that you want that. So back to what I think, was it Eric or someone said, right? Instead of printing this here, we can check if, okay, count start modulo 2 is equal to 0. Okay, then we can say print count start, right? Now, this is very important. This is a build up on whatever you know, whatever you've learned to date. So this is a simple loop, but you are also merging or including a decision making in your loop. So there are times when maybe you have, let's say, a list of cars, right? But you only want to pick particular cars and perform some operations on just those cars, right? That is you using a loop plus what? Making a decision. So let's try this as well. And let's see. So you see, we have our even numbers here. Okay. What if we had wanted to do odd numbers? Then what would they have been? Okay. Henry. Hi, Henry.
Cool. Sometimes I'm thinking in complex terms, and these things are just simple. It gets me confused a lot.
Okay, so I understand. So we've done the simplest ones, but simple is not always easy, right? Okay, hi, Ugo. Ugo, it's been a while. Ugo, Steven.
Yeah, cool. Good evening. I've been here. I've been silently.
Oh, really? I missed. Okay, I missed you. I think I missed you for the Wednesday session.
I was there.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
then maybe you used the
live
coding,
right?
Yeah.
Live coding. I was there. I was in class.
Okay. Please, I'm going to task you to always announce yourself. Always announce yourself when you're in the session, okay?
Cool. The truth is,
I'm just joking.
Recently, I just want to announce it. I've been struggling with this, frankly speaking. Like,
yes, I understand.
I want to ask this question. Can you use this command to get the hexadecimal, like the assignment that we are giving? Because I struggle with that.
Yes, you actually can.
Okay.
You actually can. Okay. You actually can. It's quite easy. Okay. The trick is in, I don't want to spoil the game for you, right? I want you to figure things out for yourself. Okay. See, it is important. Okay. All right. So you see, let me show you something, Ugo. Let me just open this one here. Let me just bring this tab here. Okay. Let me show you something. So assuming I am you, okay? I'm writing this program. I know how to write a simple program. I know how to write simple Python programs. For me, I know how to do this. So it comes to me naturally. Now, if I teach you, I've already taught you one thing, right?
Yeah.
But how can you figure it out for yourself? Okay. This is it. You come here, right? I can type print numbers in hex form, right? See, print numbers in hex form Python. Okay. Now, this is going to give me a bunch of explanations, right? Okay. This is a way for me to actually explore, okay, different ways of doing it. Do you understand?
Okay.
Okay, so if I come here, I can see introduction to the problem statement using hex function. Okay, string formatting with formats. So if I come here quickly, continuous learning, I can see I can use the hex function to print numbers in what? Hex form. So if I read, it says the hex function converts an integer to a hexadecimal string, including the 0x prefix. So if I have there's a code fragment here, there's a variable that holds 255. Okay, if I want to convert 255 to the hex string, I'm going to use the hex function with the number and I get the hex string. Okay, so let me come here and then let me print these even numbers in the hex. All I need to do is just convert this here, pass the hex, the count start into the hex function. Save, execute the code, and right here, I have my hex numbers. Do you see how easy that was?
Cole, it's easy for you. It's not easy for me, man.
I know. I understand. I understand and I empathize with you. I just want you to follow the learning framework. If you follow the framework, life becomes so much easier. Do you understand? So you see, immediately I've printed the hex. Okay, let's go back. I'm not done, but this is an opportunity for me to actually learn more. So I can read more explanation. We use the hex function, which takes an integer and returns a string representing its hexadecimal format. Perfect with this. Okay. So if I come here, there's another option here that I can use a string format. Okay. All right. This is something that Cole has taught us. Okay. How to use formats. So how can I convert this using that? I can come here, use the string format, okay, like this, dot format, and I'm going to pass the count start here, okay? If I run this code now, I'm going to get the regular numbers. But down here, if I put a colon and an X here, it changes the game. If I run this, okay, I get the hex numbers, but look at this. I get, look here, you see this is an A. This here was 10, but this is an A.
Yeah.
But if you come to the top here, you see it was 0x.
0x.
So it's basically giving me the same number. Okay, maybe I should play around with it. Maybe I can do 0x here just to solve my problem. I have one solution here. Do you see that? Yeah. It is only when you are playing around with these things and actually research it. So you see that here? The person did that here as well. You see? That you actually begin to get the solution and understand that, okay, this is continuous learning. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Is that okay? So please, you're welcome. Please calm down. Use the same approach for many projects. You don't have to copy code from online, but you just need to understand the code that has been written online and how you can actually apply that format in your code as well. Okay, great. So let's continue. So we've done this here. And with the help of Ugo, we've been able to print out a couple of numbers in hex format, but we're going to revert it back to this. Any questions up until this point, guys? Any question up until this point? All right, so we're going to continue, right? Now, what if, okay, we are checking for even numbers, but we want to check for even numbers and if, okay, the count starts, right? If that number is actually equal to 100, then we want to stop, okay? We want to print that number and then stop. So we can use the break statement, right? Or the break keyword. Now, when I run this code, I'm going to print this up to 150, not 1050, 150, okay? Look at the behavior of this code. If I execute this script, it is not going to print any number, but it will just run through these numbers up until it sees 100, and then it prints 100, and then it stops. Once again, pay attention. First of all, this code is going to check if the number that it is comparing to is, an even number, and if that number is equal to 100. So there's this popular programming interview question, the first bars question. This is an interesting way to solve the first bars question, okay? So in here, you're checking for first if it's an even number, and if it's this particular thing, then we stop. So at this point, it is no longer going to print 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 99, but it will only print up to the 100, and it would also not continue with 101, 102 up to 150. It will only stop when this condition is true. That is with the help of this break statement or keyword. Okay. Now there's also another one called the continue. Okay, keyword. Now, let's see what the continue does, okay? I'm going to clear my console. I'm going to run the script again. Now, when I run the script, look at this. You see the behavior? It is just printing hundreds, okay? It is just printing hundreds, right? Good. It is very dangerous using this statement if you don't know how to actually stop them. But the continue would actually continue the loop even after that particular condition is met. The break statement will stop the loop when that conditional statement is met. So please take note of the differences. Okay. Now in Python, there's one weird thing in Python that does not exist in most programming language. Okay. Python has an else statement which you can add to it. Now in this else statement, you can execute any code that you want. End of while loop. Okay. Like this. What happens is that after this condition executes, and whatever in here is done, it would execute the else statement before it continues executing the program. So now at this point, I'm breaking if it's an even number and it's equal to 100. But once it's done, it will tell me this is the end of the loop. So I'm going to execute the script, and then you see this. Okay, did I say this? Okay, so I went out of the, sorry, I used the break statement. Let's take out the break. Let's reduce this number to 10. Let's get this one out here. Okay, let's save and run. Okay, so at the end of the loop, it's going to print the end of the loop here. With the break statement, it would actually ignore the else statement. But with if you do the regular loop, it's going to print the else part of the statement. Now, this is while loop in a nutshell. We can use else pass for the if. I don't get your question, Victor. Do you want to unmute and ask?
I'm asking you, you're trying to like omit that break statement so that the program will start. So I was just asking if we can actually, after the if count starts even number, print count starts s pass, so that it can go forward to the else statement for the while loop.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. All right. Great. All right. I get your question. Yes, you can put an else statement in there. Yeah. Yeah, you can do that. All right. Hi, Marianne.
Hi, Cole. Okay, so why actually practicing like doing the assignments? I noticed that the attentions actually like can actually do a lot of things. It can make a code run and not run. So my question now is, if this else that says print end of while loop, if you put it directly under the if statement, will it print it?
So if you put it under the if statement, right?
Yes.
Then this is what will happen. So you see, first of all, I'm getting this error. Now, in Python, if you remember from earlier on, I told you that indentation helps you to group a bunch of code together. Now, if you look here, I have not indented properly. Why? Because the if statement has an indentation, which means that this print statement belongs to the code block of the if statement. But right after it, you can see the count start is outside. Okay, so now I have not indented properly. To resolve this, I need to get rid of this, and now you see it's resolved. If I get rid of that particular code there and then bring it down here, actually, I'm not going to add this to the else statement. Okay, this means that this count start is equal to count start plus 1 is actually part of the while block. Okay, but if I just add one indentation like this, it means that this count start is equal to count start plus 1 is part of the else block. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
Now, if I take it back 2 steps, this means that this count statement is actually on the same line as the while. It is not part of the while block. So indentations is very important in Python. You need to indent properly to know which line of code belongs to which block. Okay?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Is that okay? You're welcome. Okay.
Hello,
so
Cole.
this is, hi, Jeanette.
And please, can you show me what happens when the code is on different lines? Could you please run it?
So you mean if I have another code here like this?
The count stats where, like, when you were changing where it was for indentation, can you show us what happens if it's on the wrong, like if it's in the while or if it's in the else, or if it's on the same line as the while?
Okay. So we're in the while loop, it's quite dangerous, okay? So I'm going to show you here. So if I index this here, this means this else block is part of this. This is like the false part of this if statement, right? So this if else, now if I put this code back here, it's going to work regularly because this count start is equal to count start plus 1 is part of the while loop, okay? So if I run this, you're not going to see much differences. Okay, now if I put this in here, this will cause some problems. Okay, so if I run this, you see, I keep getting 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. That's called an infinite loop. Do you understand?
Yes, please.
Good. So you can test it out for yourself and see what happens when you do all those changes. Okay, it is always good for you to explore these things. But then we'll not waste much time. We're going to move on to the next thing, which is the for loop. Okay, the for loop. Oh, I should have moved this. Blah 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 here to the for loop. Okay, good. So now we're going to go to the for loop. Now, for loop in Python, it's just like the while loop, but with a bit of a difference. Okay, for loop, if you have heard of any other programming language like C, like C++, like Java, like JavaScript, for loop works a bit differently. Okay, now for loop structure so we're going to use the same sentence. I think we have the sentence there. Okay, if we want to print each and every character in using a for loop, we don't need to worry about the position. So we can just say for character in sentence like this, not you, right? Print the character like this. Now, you realize this is much simpler, but it can be quite tedious to understand. So let's clear our console. Let's execute this. And then we see we get the same response like the while loop. Okay. Now, what you need to understand here is that this is more like, let me say, for lack of a better term, let's say, think of it as like, I wouldn't say an iterator, like a pointer sort of, right? But not your C pointer. So this character will always point to the next element in the sequence until it gets to the end. So this is like a variable that always holds the next sequence value until it gets to the end. Okay, good. So in here, we can do that and print all these characters as we did in there. But what if we still want to do the same thing we did here, right? Oh no, this one here, we can still do this. Okay, if we want to get the indexes, okay, then we can use our range. Okay, do you remember when I spoke about range? Length of sentence like this. Then we're going to say, we're going to call this an index, and we're going to say sentence, and we're going to put our index here. Okay, so now what will happen essentially here is that this range method is going to create a range and numbers between 0 and then 1 less the length of the sentence. If I print, sorry, I'm going to clear the console. If I print this, I'm going to get the same output. So this is me trying to do the same thing as I did with the while loop. But why would I do this if I have an easier way, which is the first one that I did? Okay, so this is one thing you can do. But I also want you to look at the range, okay? So I'm going to say numbers here, and I'm going to create range from range up to 10, okay? Now I'm going to just print numbers here. Okay, now look at this. I'm going to clear my console, run this code, and then you see it tells me range 0 to 10. What this means is that by default, the range will generate numbers from 0 to 1 less the number that is here, so which is 9. So if we want to see this, we can use this list to actually get the expressive version of the range. So now you can see the numbers have been listed in a list format. And as I said, it starts from 0 to 1 less the number that is in here. Maybe you don't want to start from 0, you want to start from 1. Then you can put an additional argument at the first position with the number that you wanted to start with. If I run the script, now you see it starts from 1 down to 9. What if I want just even numbers? Okay, I can put a step here and then tell it what? To keep stepping from 2, right? So the next number will be 2 and so on. So if I do this, you see I get 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. I can do the same thing with 3, and it's going to give me multiples of 3. You see that? The range is a powerful tool in Python that allows you to generate any number, any range, numbers between any range. So if I put 100 here, it's going to generate numbers, multiples of 3 between 0 and 1 less the number that is here. But also, we can use the same range, okay, in the for loop, okay? So I can say for number in numbers, or no, for that I can say range, okay? I want you to print from 1 to 10, okay? And then I want you to print each number for me to see, okay? Now, if I run the script, I'm going to get 1, 2, 3 to up to 9, which means if I want up to 10, then I have to increase this to 11, and then I'm going to get 1 to 10, okay? I can also ask it to step by 2, which means I'm going to get numbers from 2. So you see 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and it sort of looks like Fibonacci, but it's not, okay? So look at this properly, okay? So these are ways that you can print numbers in Python using the for loop. Okay, let's go back. Let's generate 1 to 100. Okay, as we did initially. Now we can see the numbers. Oh, sorry, 1 to 100. I did 1 to 199. So we get 1 up to 100. Then we can as well put our if statement here. Say, check if the number modulo 2 is actually equal to 0. Then we want you to actually print that number, okay? So this is also going to give us even numbers. This is just me doing the same thing that I did with the while loop, okay? So any questions up until this point, guys? Oh, also, we can also apply the break statement in here and the continue. They all apply in here, okay? Any questions, guys? Hi, Victor. Is Victor here? All right, Freddie. Hi, Freddie. Hello, Freddie.
Hi, Cole. Hi.
Do we have any questions?
No, I'm just following through. I feel like at this point I'm just following through. I'm coding as you write. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. So we have these things, right? So the next thing we're going to look at, which is actually this one. Right, hold on. The next thing we're going to look at here is lists and tuples, okay? Lists and tuples. If you don't have any questions for the loops, then we're going to go to lists and tuples. We're going to end on lists and tuples, and then on Tuesday, we're going to explore sets and dictionaries and import and modules. Okay, guys, we are building up on our Python skills. It's so exciting, right? So let's do list.py, okay? Are you here? Are you here? Hi, James. Hi, Fred. So I have Freddie and I have Fred. Hi, Fred. Hello, Fred.
Hello, Cole.
How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Great. Fred, do you have any questions? Do you have anything that needs clarification on?
I'm good.
You're good. All right. So Fred, so I want us to have a conversation. Is that okay?
Okay.
So we've explored a couple of concepts, techniques, and tools in Python, right?
Yeah.
One of the tools that we looked at was strings. And the one peculiar thing about a string is that it's always a collection of characters, right?
Yeah, sure.
Now, if I want to create a Python program that is going to hold the name of learners in this particular session, do you think this will be good? I can have learner. I can create a variable learner1 and then call this learner Fred, okay? And let's have learner 2. Okay, and let's call this guy Freddy. Okay, let's call learner 3. Let's call this guy Blessing. Do you think this is like a good approach?
No, it's not.
Why?
We could put it in a list and everything will be together.
Exactly. So a list is a collection of items that are ordered, right? So we can have learners like this, and then we can have our learners in here. So we can have Fred, we can have Freddy, we can have Blessing, right? So now, list in Python is quite an interesting topic, right? Because list actually allows us to be able to model real-world events into our code. Our code is not always going to be one variables, just as we've seen initially, right? So list actually helps us to actually be able to model real-life stuff in Python. Now we have these guys, so we're going to print them, okay? Now, if I print learners here, and I execute this, oh, let me just clear my console and then run the script again. So you can see Fred, Freddy, and Blessing are all in here. But Fred, come again. So Fred, what if we want to convert Fred? Hi, Fred.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was doing something.
Oh, that's fine. So we want to say Fred is awesome, Freddy is awesome, Blessing is awesome, right? But we want to convert your name. You see your name starts with a smaller letter. Freddy also starts with a smaller letter, and Blessing starts with a smaller letter. How would we go about doing this and then printing it individually, right? So we have things like Fred, okay, Fred is awesome, right? Then we have Freddy is awesome. And then we have Blessing is awesome. How do you think we can do this? Hi, Fred. Okay, so I guess Fred got busy. So let's bring Philip. Hi, Philip. Hi, Philip. Okay, I guess my guys are a bit busy. Let me go to my girls. Hi, Priscilla. Hi, Priscilla.
Yeah, I'm here.
What's up, Priscilla?
I'm trying to think of the answer code.
Let's kill this. Okay, you know what? Let's take it one step at a time.
Sorry,
Okay.
Cole. Hello. Sorry. I told you I was doing something. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Fred, I understand. So the flight already left you. Please go enjoy the next flight. Don't worry, Fred. I'll get back to you. So let's have Priscilla help me with this. So Priscilla, let's take it one step at a time. Okay. So we just spoke about loops, right? And what I want you to observe here is that the problem here is we want to take each and every name in this list and then add is awesome to it, right?
Yeah.
Now I can access each and every person in here, okay? I can use the indexing, right? Because in list, we can use indexing to access each and every item in the list. So I can do this like 0, and then I can even say, let's just do this one, okay? If I print this, I see only Fred. Do you see that?
Okay.
If I do 1, I see Fred, okay?
Yeah.
Freddy, sorry. If I do 2, I would see Blessing, right? But now this is a bit of a primitive type. We're going to go there. But I want us to actually apply the knowledge that we learned in here, right? With what we have in here. So let's say the first thing we want to do is we want to create a for loop and say for learner, each learner that exists in the list of learners, okay? First of all, print what? The learner, okay? So now this loop is actually going to go over this list and print each and every learner, just like we did with these numbers here.
Yeah.
Remember? Just like we did with this range and so on. So for loops actually works well with lists and strings, basically any sequencing type. So now we see we have Freddie, we have Fred, we have Blessing. We also know that because this, what type of data do you think Fred and Freddie and Blessing are?
A string, yeah, a string.
A string. So we can use the method capitalize here, okay, to actually convert the first characters to what? Capital. So now you see we have Freddie, we have Fred, we have Blessing.
Yeah.
Do you see that?
Yeah.
Now, can we also add, can we actually format this? So let's do this and say format, sorry, like this, and then say it's awesome, like this, okay? Then do dot format, and then just pass this in here. Can we do this? Of course we can. If we run this, we see Fred is awesome, Freddie is awesome, Blessing is awesome. This is the solution to our problem. Essentially, what we've done here is that we've basically applied the knowledge we acquired from the loops immediately in the list. Do you see that? Yeah. And then we've also applied the knowledge of formatting to what? To actually format each and everything. Do you see that? So it's quite an interesting thing to do. So that is what I just wanted to pick your mind on. Okay, but let's go back one step. One thing you need to know about, please ask.
Why didn't you use the F at the beginning?
Okay, so we could have actually done that as well. Okay, so that is another way we can actually format. So we can do F, and then say here we say learner dot capitalize like this. Okay, it's awesome. Okay, we could have actually done this as well. There's so many ways to kill a cat in Python. Okay, so this is actually very valid. All right, great. So now one thing that I need you to know about lists is that lists are ordered. Okay, it means that the items have a definitive order. So the first item would always have another item that is following it. It is not like it's not jumbled up and all that. Okay, but we also need to understand. Sorry, we need to understand that in as much as these lists are ordered, we can also change them. For example, we can say that we want to change or replace whatever is in here, okay, with something else. Just before we get there, let's take it one step at a time. Okay, so we can change the list, we can modify whatever that is here, we can choose to add a new item to this. Okay, we can choose to insert a new item before this, and so on. We're going to see how we can do that, all of that in a second. Okay, but also we can also count the number of items that exist in a list. So for example, I'm going to comment this out, and I'm going to comment this out as well. If we want to know the number of items that exist in this list, we can use our old friend length or len, and then followed by the variable that holds the list, and this is going to tell us the number of items that exist in this list. Okay, so there are 3, right? There are 3. Now the list can also have different data types. Okay, so you can it doesn't have to store just numbers. You can also put numbers, you can put strings, you can put booleans. Okay, you can put any whatsoever number here. But we know this will not make sense to us because this list is supposed to contain a list of learners. But if we run this, we're going to get the new size as 6 because we added 3 more stuff. Okay, is that okay, guys? All right, so now back to our old list. We have learned one way to access sequentially the members of a list, right? And that can be done using the for loop. Can we also do the same thing with the while loop? Yes, we can. So we can say the while loop always needs the initializer. So we can say position, or let's say index, say 0, say while index is less than the length of the learners list. Okay, no, okay. We want to print the learners, each learner's index, right? Like this. and it's still going to give us the same answer. Okay. Oh, sorry. So I entered into an infinite loop. I need to increment my index, right? Like index +1. Okay. Like this. Run this, and I'm going to get the same answer. Okay. So whatever you can do with a for loop, you can do with a while loop, depending on what you want to do. Okay. At least for now. Right? Now, on that note, if we are using the index to access each and every element in the list, then we can actually use the individual indexes. Okay. So for example, if I go back to this, actually let me use a new one. If I say print length of 0 is going to give me the first guy, which is Fred. Okay. As I said, if I go to 1, it will give me the second guy, which is Freddy. If I go to 2, it'll give me the second guy, Blessing, right? So this is you accessing each and every item in the list using indexes. Now, you can also go in the reverse format. You can use -1, and this will actually give you Blessing, -2, which will actually give you Freddy, okay, and -3, which will actually give you Fred. So you can go either forward or backwards, depending on the numbers that you're using. So you're using an integer number, positive integers, it would go forward. If you're using negative integers, it would go backwards, okay? Right. Now, the next thing, any questions here? Any questions up until this point, guys? Okay, so I mentioned earlier that list contents are changeable, right? So actually, if I look at the 0th index, it will tell me it's Fred, right? But I can also do length of the 0th index and then put this one as Marianne, okay? Now, if I run this script, 0th index will no longer be Fred because I would have changed the value at that index with a new value, okay? So now I get Marianne. Is that okay? Right. So we move on, right? I can change the last one, 2 to, let's say, James. Okay. If I run this, I get, wait, did I just put, okay. Where? Oh, so if I run this here, I should, okay, I should get Fred because I'm printing the 0th index. But if I print the 2nd index, now I should get James, right? That is what I'll get. Hi, Mohammed.
Hi, Cole. I have a question. Can we put list inside the list?
Yes, you can. So you can have another list here that contains other people. So let's say Obed, and let's say Cole. Okay, like this. You can actually do this.
Yeah, okay.
You can even have another list in here, and so on. Okay. But then when we do that, the complexity begins to mount up.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now what if we don't want to use the index to insert stuff, right? We can use the insert method. So learners.insert, not index, insert, okay. This insert takes 2 arguments, the index and whatever you wanted to change. So I can say for the 0th index, I want you to put Marianne, okay, like this. If I print the 0th index here, it should give me Marianne. That means I can even change the 1st index and then put Marianne in there, right? So what I want to do here is instead of printing this, I'll print the entire list here, and then I'll print the entire list at the top. Okay. If I run the script for the first list, you see the 1st index has Freddy. But after we run the script here, we've inserted Marianne at what? Freddy's position. So now we have Marianne in place of that. You see that? But can we just do that? Or is there more we can do? There's so many things you can do with a list, okay? So the next one too you can do is you can actually append to a list. So learners dot append, And then you can append anything. Let's add Jeanette. Let's see. Jeanette, yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to print the list. So now we see Jeanette is now part of the list. We can append any number that we want. Let's append Victor. And then let's append Henry. Okay, oh, Victor has the R. Then we have Henry here. Okay, so if I run the script, now you can see we can keep on adding to the list. So we can do this dynamically, right? So it allows us to keep growing our list dynamically. Okay. Any questions, guys? So there are so many things. Yes, we can also extend. We can also remove from a list. Hold on. Let me see. Time. Okay. So we can extend from a list. We can remove from a list. We can delete elements from a list. We can pop from a list. We can do so many things to a list. So I would leave that up to you to actually go out there and then explore further all the methods that we have on the list, okay? All the methods that we have on the list. So let me not keep boring people because I think some people already have, don't have questions, right? So we can do all of that to a list. So the next thing we're going to look at is a tuple, right? We're going to look at tuples. Guys, before I move to tuples, any questions on here? One thing I need you to understand is that these things are so important. These basic concepts, as you might see them, they are very important. Okay, so if you don't understand them now, they might pose some challenges to you in the future. Okay. Any questions? Okay, great. So if we don't have any questions, let's move on. Okay, all right. So I want to pick someone as random, okay? I want you to actually, who would be behind your PC? Adrian, hi Adrian. Okay, Prudence. Hi Prudence.
I have a question.
Okay,
In the case where we have a list inside a list, how can we access the items inside the list?
So let's assume we have content, right? And this content has code, it has books, okay? Then it also has, let's say, some cars in here. So it has Ford, it has Toyota, okay? And maybe let's say it also has another list here. This one has fruits, so let's say apples and mangoes, right? Now, Prudence, that was you, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now if I want to print, oh, is there someone writing this? Okay, if I want to output books, how would I do that? Prudence?
You'd print
Content,
index,
and then I'll use the index of this. Are you sure it's
1.
index 2? 1.
1.
So if I do this, I'm going to clear my console. Okay, I'm going to run this, and then we'll see we have books, right? Why do I? Oh, okay, I have this one here. Okay, so now if I want to print Ford in this list, right? How would I get it? My question to you is, first of all, if I want coal, I know that the index of coal is 0, right, Prudence? Now, if I want books, I know the index is what? 1. But this one here is also another list. But all these things, all this list itself is in what? The index 2. So if I should put 2 here, then if I execute the script, I'm going to get the actual list. Now, in this list, this one also has items. So this one's index will also be 0, right? So I can also put this here and then say 0 here. Now, if I run this script, now you see I have Ford. Does it make sense, Prudence? So this is a list in a list, right? The first part of accessing items in a list is to access a single dimensional list, right? This is a one-dimensional list. But the very moment I put another list inside the list, it becomes a two-dimensional list, right? So the first one I can access using the single square notation. Then if this is another list, then I can put another square notation here, followed by the index of the item that I want. So if I want Toyota, then I'll put 1 here, right? Now if I execute it, I get Toyota. Now what if I want mangoes? Then what do I do? Prudence?
You'll include another.
So first of all, I need to know these mangoes exist in another list. And I know the position of this would be what? 2, right? And then the position of mangoes in this list is what?
1.
1. You see? So if I print this, I'm going to get mangoes. Do you see that?
Yes.
Now, it will look a bit confusing at first, but the more you practice, the more you would understand. Is that okay?
Okay.
Thank you. You're welcome. Hi, Priscilla.
Yeah, please, I was asking, what's the difference between replace and
Oh, I lost you.
Insert.
Replace and insert. So you see, first of all, list does not have replace. You see, list does not have replace. Replace only, you can only, hi Priscilla, can you turn on your mic? You can only use replace for strings, okay? Now, insert in list allows you to insert at any position.
I'm having an issue with my network.
That's fine. It allows you to insert at any position in the list. For example, if I want to insert something at 0, 1, 2 at the third index like this, right? I can say Priscilla. Okay. Now I'm going to just comment this out and I'm going to print, print contents. Okay, here. And then above here, I'm going to print content here. Look at this. Now, first of all, note that 3 it does not exist in here. This is 0, 1, 2, right? If I execute this script, you see it would actually insert Priscilla after the list. Do you see that? So if I want to replace, let's say, the entire list here with your name, then I'll just need to locate the index of this list, which is 2, okay? And then replace that with your name. So if I print out, now you see that we have Priscilla. Sorry, insert, not replace, insert. So replace will totally replace it. Insert will just insert at that position and move whatever is there to the next position. So Priscilla is here, but you still see the list in here. Do you see that?
Yeah.
But maybe if I want to completely change it, then I can do this here. I can say content, say 2, and then insert Priscilla like this. Okay, so now if I execute the script, you see the list is completely gone, but it's been replaced with your name.
Okay.
You see that? Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Any other questions, guys? Guys, see, there's so many questions you can ask on this. Okay. Please don't run with just the knowledge you have. Even if you already know something, you can contribute. Okay. So, do you have any question on this? All right. So with that being said, I am going to create, let me check my time. Good. So we have just a few more minutes. Tuples. Now we're not going to spend so much time on tuples, okay? Because the only difference between tuples and lists is just a few methods and a little bit of properties. Now in Python, when you create a list, you use the square notation, right? You use the square notation here. But when you're creating a tuple, you can, let's say, let's call this learners again, okay? You use the parentheses, right? Now here, we can still have Fred. We can still have Freddie. And then we can still have Blessing here, okay? Like this. Now, if I should print this list out, this tuple out, I'm still going to get a similar response, but it will be tweaked a bit. Let me clear the console for clarity. Hi, Priscilla, do you still have your hand up? Priscilla, do you still have a question? Okay, good. So you see, it's still going to print the tuple, but it has the parentheses, not the square braces. Now, why is that? Okay. tuples are also ordered in items, which means we can access them by index as we did with the list like this. Okay, can get Fred, we can get 1. Okay, we can get the second index. Okay, and then we also get it backwards. Okay, we can, right? So you can perform this operation just as you would have performed this operation on a list. You can also perform this operation on a tuple, right? But one particular thing about it is it's unchangeable, okay? This list cannot be changed. So for example, let me just put 0 here. And now using the same approach we used in the list, okay? I'm going to say I want to change Freddie to Obed. Fred to Obed, right? If I try executing this, let me clear my console, I'll get an error, which is a type error. Trust me, tuple object does not support item assignment. That means that when you create a tuple, the content here can never be changed. Okay, it can never be changed. Is that okay? So that is one thing you need to note about tuples. Also, for list and tuples, you can contain duplicate items. Okay, and we'll speak more about that when we get to sets. Okay, but you cannot change the content of tuples as you would have in list. Okay, you cannot. But can we get the length? Yes, we can. Okay, we can get the length of a tuple as we would have using the length function. So you see that? Guys, do you see the difference? As well, you can also, your tuple can also contain different types, okay? So let's put this, let's put 70.78.2 and so on. If I execute this, I don't get an error. It just tells me the length because I'm printing out the length here. Okay. Hi, Henry. Do you have a question?
I don't think I do. I thought you said tuples can be manipulated, but they cannot be changed. That's the only difference with list, right?
So we can update it, but we cannot change.
So we can do everything we can do to a list to a tuple, but we cannot. The only thing is that we cannot change an item inside the tuple.
Exactly. So, for example, you remember we did an append. So we can do learners.append here. Hold on, not too sure about this. Okay. Yep. So tuple don't have append. So we can't even append to it. So the whole point of a tuple is that it allows you to actually have like a fixed set of data. So if I actually want to append to this learners, right, John, what I would do is, because tuple has that restriction, I'll first of all change this learners, right, to a list like this. Okay. Then I can now append. Okay. Once I append, I can just change this learners back to a tuple. Okay. If I do this, it should work. Yeah. You see? The whole point here is that you need to understand that tuples are restricted. You cannot, once you create something in a tuple, you can't change it. Okay? You can't just change it like that.
So what will be the practical application? What will be the practicality of using a tuple compared to a list?
So imagine you are working with a data set, right? Or your company tells you, hey, Henry, we want you to actually clean up this data for us, or maybe do some computations on the organization's data for you, right? For them. Now, you want to maintain the integrity of the original data, because once you modify the original data, it is gone. You cannot unmodify it again. Do you understand? So in that case, if you are loading that data into your Python program, it will be best to load it into a tuple, such that first of all, you do not mistakenly change any one of the data, or someone else, one of your team members, does not mistakenly change the data without your consent. Do you understand?
Okay.
Good. Hi, Adrian.
Yes, cool. You said that for the tuples we can't add, but what if we use the like tuple plus, and then you put the addition sign?
Yeah.
And then you
So
add another tuple. But we need to add another tuple within it.
So when you use the add sign, right, what you're doing is you are add. So let me just show you. So what you're saying is, I have learners here. Let me comment this out first, right? I have learners here.
Yes.
Right? Then I want to say plus equal to, and then I'm going to say I want to add John, right? Look at what happens. It won't happen. You see, you can only add another tuple. So for example, if this John was another tuple like this, then this would work. Okay. Sorry. The tuple, not a string to tuple. Oh, okay. Let me see this. Right. So initially, it was actually seeing this as just a string. Okay, when I did this, it was seeing it as just a string. Okay, when I do this, it would only see, so you see it can only concatenate tuple, not a string to tuple. But if I put a comma here, then it treats this automatically as a tuple. So when I run this, it would work. It would actually add on to this. It would join the two tuples. Okay, so let's see that's here, practically here. We see that now John has been added. So you're only adding two tuples, but you're not modifying the tuple. Note the difference. In list, we can actually change this here, the books here. It won't be the same again. But in tuples, you cannot change Freddy here. You can't do that. Does it make sense?
Yes, it makes sense. Thank you.
Great. So you can basically hi.
Yeah, sorry.
Anyway, hi there.
Sorry for Are
That's
we
fine.
able to interchange single quotes with the double quotes?
Oh yeah, it's a string. Remember when we spoke about strings? So yeah, so many ways you can write a string. So I am. So you see, I'm using double quotes here and I'm using single quotes here. So you can use double quotes, you can use single quotes. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Any other question?
Hi, Cole.
Hi.
Okay, the way you added John to this tuple, can you also do that for a list?
Please hold on.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, so you're asking the way I added this. So this is more of, you see, this actually is an assignment, right? So,
yes.
So you're saying if I have another list here, right? Let's comment this out. Let's say I have contents plus equal to, and I have another list here. Let's say this one is hot. Let's see pepper. Okay. Will this actually work? Look at this.
Yes, that's my question.
You see it worked.
Okay.
This one right here is the shorthand for this. Contents plus this. What is happening here? You're just saying that I want you to add this list to this list. Okay, so add there. Okay, that would actually work. So that will work. But thank you so much for that question. I think you should also explore further in terms of that. You can look through. I don't want to talk so much. That's why I spent so much time on the list, because you can also look through your tuple. You can do a whole lot of stuff to your tuple. Now, you will ask me, cool, we are learning all these things. See, where can we use it? Where can we have a practical approach to it? You are going to see in the coming days how important it is to understand data structures in Python or in programming. Data structures, by definition, is the way you arrange data in memory. Now, not to bore you with the technical or the low-level language, but anything that you declare in here, okay, whenever you declare, let's say, a variable and you store something in there, essentially, your PC contains what we call the RAM. Hold on. I'm just going to bring this one here. Google.com. Let's say RAM. We're going to go here. Have you ever seen this? Ever? Not this one, not this one, okay? I mean this one here. Have you ever seen this here?
Yeah.
Who here hasn't ever seen this thing before? Okay, so your computer has two memory, right? It has the primary memory or the primary storage and then the secondary storage. Okay. Hi, Steven.
Yes, I've seen it before.
Okay, great. All right. So your computer has two types of storage, the primary storage and the secondary storage. The primary storage is basically known as the memory, and the memory is your RAM. So data structures as you are learning, being in a list, being it a tuple, being it a dictionary, being it a set, being it a frozen set or whatever it is, and it's a way for you to actually arrange or organize data in this thing. Now, if you don't organize the data in the RAM properly, your program will not work efficiently or effectively. So all these things, there are techniques of storing data in your RAM. Now, if we're doing C programming, I would have showed you the memory layouts and all that, but we are not doing C programming. We are doing Python. So we are abstracted from all of that. But I need you to understand that you cannot do away with data structures in Python. It is so important. You're going to see it everywhere. Hi, Marianne.
Okay, hi, Go. I actually have a question, and my question is, okay, for all these strings, the assignments we've been doing here since, like for example, password, I actually see these things on websites, but here now we're just doing it and then we're seeing it on our console. Like, how do people actually like make it websites?
Good.
As I'm asking.
Good. So when you are building a system, right, there are two things you consider, okay? There's the policy and then there's the mechanism, okay? Now, the policy is how or the ways or the instructions or the details that you have put in place for things to work. The mechanisms are how the thing actually works. In reality, your data is not private. In reality, whatever you have that you think you're hiding from anyone, you are not hiding it from anyone, okay? Your data is as raw as it can be. But you being the programmer, if you are writing the code, you can choose by means of policy and abstraction to hide some of the data from people. And when you are hiding, it's not encapsulation, but it's just abstraction. Take note of the words, right? Encapsulation and abstraction, right? Now, when you abstract things from user's view, the thing actually is there, but you are representing it with something else, okay? When you encapsulate something, the thing is there and people cannot access it. These are all strategies that exist in the mechanism. So if you go to a website, for example, let me bring this one here. If you go to a website like, let's say, Instagram.com, okay, and after it's downloading, you see phone number, username, and email. I'm going to type my, let's say, Marianne, at gmail.com. Okay, and I'm going to type my password. So let's type my password as, let's say, tomatoes, right? Now, you see, this is being abstracted away from the user. It's not encapsulated. It's not hidden. Because when you click on this show, you can see the password. Marianne, does it make sense?
Yes, it does.
So it's being abstracted away from the user. But then in the coming days, I'm going to show you that when you submit this particular request, okay, you can actually see the username and password down there. Wait, why is this logging in? Okay, that's weird. Okay, so you can actually see it in the payload, okay? And I'm going to show you that, how we're going to examine that in the future. So your password is not actually hidden. It's there. When you type your password and you send it, it is actually in there as plain text. I'll show you that when we're doing web frameworks.
Sorry, Cole, that was actually my question. My question is, these programs that we run now, the Python programs, the codes that we run, we only see them on console. But
you
then
only see them on console here.
Yes, well, yes.
Okay.
But I tend to see some of these things on people's websites, and then you say we can use Python to do anything. So how does it actually appear on the website?
how does the Python code appear on the website?
Yes, that's my question.
Okay. So don't worry, we are going to do that in web framework. Okay. I'll show you how you can do that in web framework. Sorry, I misunderstood your question. I thought you wanted to see.
It's okay.
Yeah, all right.
I learned something. Thank you so much.
Okay, when I get into system design, it's hard to stop me. So guys, forgive me for that. All right. Anyway, so that's a good one. Anyone else has any question? All right. So it's been quite a long session, and thank you so much for joining. Where is my slide? Let me bring my slide here. So for today's session, we've actually looked at loops, which is while loops and for loops, and how we can use them in our code. They are so important. You need to practice. They might look simple at first, but trust me, if you don't pay particular attention, you might get confused, okay? So there's the while loop, and then there's the for loop. Play around with it. Make sure you don't get into an infinite loop, okay? Then we looked at lists and tuples as where we can actually organize data in our storage, and how we can access, modify, add on, insert. Someone suggested in the chat that you can actually extend, you can delete items, you can clear the items in the list, and so many things, right? But the time is not enough for us to go through each and every single one of them. So you have tasks on the internet that is actually going to give you practical examples or practical scenarios on those tasks, right? And then next week, Tuesday, we are going to look at set and dictionaries, and we're going to look at import and modules, okay? We are gradually getting into the complex part of Python. So you need to brace yourself. You need to go back and practice more. You need to keep on reading. You need to watch more tutorial videos. You need to do more programming for yourself. I say watch more tutorial videos because we do not want to limit your knowledge and your skill set to what you are acquiring from just ALX. But we want you to understand and appreciate that there's so many knowledge out there that you can actually tap into and then feed on to become an outstanding programmer. The knowledge you're going to acquire from ALS will just form about 15 to 20% of your knowledge set. The rest of the 20% or the 80%, sorry, the 85%, you still have to acquire somewhere. And it's out of practice, it's out of persistence, it's out of continuous learning and so on. So please keep on learning, okay? Thank you so much for joining the session. Note that we will be releasing new sets of projects today, midnight at 11:59 p.m. your local time. Live learning session continues on Tuesday. Please don't miss it. We are also going to share the link to this video with you guys. It's being recorded. So we'll upload it on YouTube and share the link with you guys so that you can catch up. And for your colleagues who are not here, they can also go and then catch up for themselves. And then be sure to complete the projects released this week, guys. It is so important that you complete the project. If you need help, don't hesitate to reach out to Blessing and myself. We are ever ready and more than ready to actually assist you. Thank you so much. And I'll say bye for now and have a good weekend.
Bye.
There was someone who wanted me to help them with their Python installation. Is the person still here?
I think that was Lesego. Lesego.
Oh, sent me a message. She was having a meeting. Okay, all right, guys. Thank you so much, and bye for now. Hi, Blessing.
Hi, Ko. Sorry, I didn't connect my microphone earlier on, so
that's fine.
Ago, I had a meeting, a one-on-one with him yesterday, so I asked him to talk to you about it anyway.
Okay, all right. That's fine. I'm going to help him resolve that.
All right, thank you.